So you remember The Lion King, right? The opening sequence, the sunrise, the animals bowing. One of the greatest openings in movie history. That movie made almost $1 billion. It won Oscars. It became a Broadway musical. It's one of the most beloved films of all time. But here's the story nobody tells you. Disney didn't believe in it. They thought it was going to be a failure. In fact, they gave The Lion King to their B team, the younger, less experienced animators who weren't good enough to work on the real project. The real project was Pocahontas. That was supposed to be the masterpiece, the Oscar winner, the movie that would define the Disney Renaissance. The Lion King was just filler, something to keep audiences busy until Pocahontas came out. The irony. Pocahontas is mostly forgotten today. And The Lion King? It became the highest-grossing traditionally animated film of all time. This is the story of how the B team accidentally created a legend. Let's go back to 1991. Disney was at the height of its renaissance. Beauty and the Beast had just been nominated for Best Picture. Everyone was hungry for the next big thing, and two projects were competing for attention. One was Pocahontas, a historical drama, romance, politics, serious themes, human characters. This was the movie Disney wanted to make, the prestige project. The one that would win Oscars and prove animation could be serious art. The other was The Lion King, a movie about lions in Africa singing songs, with a story that was basically Hamlet, but with animals. At first, nobody knew what to make of it. It was original. It was weird. It didn't have a princess or a fairy tale to fall back on. And here's how Disney made the decision. They put their best animators, their A-team, on Pocahontas, and they gave The Lion King to the rest. Directors Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff had to scrape and beg to get people to join their production. The team was full of first-timers, animal enthusiasts, people who weren't good enough for the real movie. Jeffrey Katzenberg, the head of Disney Animation, believed Pocahontas could be nominated for Best Picture. The Lion King? He just wanted it to make some money. Sell some merch, keep the studio busy, that's all. But here's where it gets wild. The B-team animators on The Lion King had one thing the A-team didn't have: time. And they used that time to do something insane. They brought real African lions into the studio. Not pictures, not videos. Actual, living, breathing lions. Full-grown males with manes. Teenage lions the size of German shepherds. Cub, Mark Henn, the lead animator who designed Simba, said the lions were tame. They were friendly. But he also said, "You think they're all soft and cuddly until you touch them. Even though they look very lanky and soft like your house cat, they're not at all. It's just like solid muscle." But it worked. The animators studied the lion's muscles, their movements, how they walked, how they breathed, how they sat. Wildlife expert Jim Fowler visited the studio with lions and other animals to teach the animators how real lions behave. He showed them how lions greet each other, by gently butting heads. He showed them how lions fight, by rising on their hind legs. All that research went into the movie. The animators weren't just drawing cartoons. They were drawing real animals. And that's why The Lion King feels so alive. But the lions in the studio weren't enough. The animation team also traveled to South Africa. They went to the real Pride Lands, the Kenyan National Park that inspired the movie. The trip changed everything. They saw the scale, the colors, the beauty. They saw how real animals moved, not in a studio, but in the wild. Suddenly, The Lion King stopped being just a movie about talking animals. It became about life, death, legacy. One animator said, "The trip gave the film its sweeping sense of grandeur, and when they came back to California, they poured that grandeur into every frame." Now here's the turning point. The animators created the opening sequence, the circle of life. Rafiki holding up Simba, the animals bowing, the music soaring. They storyboarded it. They paired it with the song, and they showed it to the studio. The reaction? Everyone was floored. Even the executives who thought The Lion King was just filler had to admit, this is special. The song itself, composed by Elton John, Lyrics by Tim Rice. It was one of the most powerful moments ever put in an animated film. And the animators knew it. They started believing in their B-Team project. They started pushing harder, digging deeper, adding more emotion to Simba's guilt, more depth to his father-son relationship. Brenda Chapman, the story head, said, "It was our job to make the main character likable and sympathetic. It was also challenging to make the environment and characters interesting. In real life, lions basically sleep, eat, and have no props. So they gave the lions human emotions. But the emotions were rooted in real lion behavior, real muscle movement, real body language, real relationships." Mark Henn, the animator who designed Simba, got to pet the lions. The animator's approach was simple. If it had 4 legs, it walked on 4 legs. If it flew, it flew. They didn't anthropomorphize the animals. They made them real. And that made the emotions more powerful. Because you weren't watching cartoons, you were watching lions with human hearts. Here's the thing about the B team. They didn't have the pressure. They didn't have the expectations. They were free to experiment. The A team on Pocahontas was making a serious historical drama. They had to be careful, respectful, accurate. The B team on The Lion King? They could try new things, take risks, be creative. They used computer animation for the Wildebeest Stampede, a blend of traditional and digital art that took more than 2 years to complete. They wrote a new computer program to govern the movements of the herd so the animals wouldn't crash into each other. That had never been done before. They also pushed the music further. Elton John's songs, Hans Zimmer's score, Labo M's African vocals. The B team took a risk on something different, and it paid off.